Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of WarGames.id. And today we're going to be talking about Conquest. And we're going to do a little bit different. I know these last couple of episodes we've been talking about, Old Dominion, and I think it's still the flavor of the season because Old Dominion is here and they are ready to wreck your local tournament scene. And today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine. Why don't you introduce yourself, Ben?
Hey guys, it's Ben from Blitzminis. Thank you so much for having me, Evan.
As always, Ben does amazing battle reports in his channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out his channel. Please subscribe to his channel as well. So Ben, in today's episode, we're going to do something funny. I know we did like last video last time talking about sort of like the seriousness of like the tournament, the viability of Old Dominion. In today's episode, I want to do something a little bit interesting. So we're going to take all the different attachments, all the different units, all the different options that we have in Old Dominion, and then putting them on a tier system. And I'll explain to you what this tier system means. So in S tier, the first one is where we call the please nerf chart. So units in this S tier is definitely the top of the top. They're very, very good. They're very costly. They're very efficient in their cost, and they can do a lot of damage when they're on the battlefield. In A tier, this is sort of like the staple. So they're good. You always see them in the army, and they're always sort of like the first choice that you bring on the battlefield. Option B is sort of like the second tier. They're not exactly useful. That's not necessarily the first thing you pick, but they're more sort of like a support to your army, and sort of you're happy to see them, etc. And then for option C and D, I don't think we're going to use the D tier, but for option C is the sort of the least use, partially because they might not be that cost efficient, or their usage is very niche, or maybe we have yet to see a use case for them. Anything you'd like to add, Ben, to this tier system?
So I just want to check because the thing I love about Conquest is that there's no one way to play the game. So there are some units that are circumstantial in some lists. So do those to go into the B or the C section?
Yep. They're
Is that what would you consider that? Yeah.
I think circumstantial unit probably goes to C. Like I said, it's the sort of the your I would say like C tier will be like Strix in Spire, right? There's a use case for them. You know that there is a usage for them, but they're not exactly the first two things that you pick in an army.
Okay. No, as long as we got that settled, then I think that's pretty much what we need to just iron out. Okay. All right. Perfect. Just so we know.
Yep. So FYI for everyone, not all units in Old Dominion are released. That's why we have a bunch of these placeholder images. So just not to confuse you with what all these myriad of pictures look like. So let's get right through it. The first one is Acolyte. So Acolyte is an attachment that you get in one of your units that allows them to be the target of your spellcasting regardless of range. So I think this is a very niche case. This is pretty straightforward for me. It costs you 15 points, I believe, to bring it, and you haven't yet seen the model yet. But if you have only one attachment in your unit, I probably wouldn't like to have an Acolyte in the army. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on this one. I think the Acolyte is not fantastic, and if I'm not wrong, the only spell that reaches across the field and hits a friendly for OD is the healing spell.
Oh wow, it's 25 points as well. No, definitely no.
Yeah, definitely not. I actually think this is a D because the thing is that we know all the spells already.
Yeah.
And the only one is the heal, right? And Dark Acolyte, if I'm not wrong, only goes in Legionaries.
Yes. So not only you have
it's the cheapest unit on the board. You're not gonna spend 25 points to heal them. 1+. Even if you're in tier 3, it's 1 stand, right? That's bad.
No. This
you need to heal them twice to get the points worth of that. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the second one uses the roughly the same picture as the Acolyte, because I can't for the life of me find a picture for Apostate. So the Apostate is an attachment that you get for the Assassin, which gives them flank, and also the cultist. So you can put him in the cultist and assassin that gives them flank. For 15 points, I think it's not too bad.
Is it a limit 1 per army?
Apostate is not a limit 1 per army. Let me quickly check that. No, it's not limit 1 per army.
Because I'm just doing a quick comparison to Wardrun, which have the tracker, which does the same thing, but is limit 1 per army.
Ooh. Yeah,
but the tracker, to be fair, is usable in a lot of units.
My only
But this
problem,
one might only be the
my only
Hashashin.
problem with the cultist and the assassin is that even though they're probably very good, and we'll get to that a bit later, but they're sort of like the only human unit that Old Dom has. So their utility is not where you want them to be. For example, if you just send them to the enemy and then they die, you don't really get the dark.
You don't get dark power.
Yeah, but at the same time, flank is a powerful ability, and costing 15 points to bring flank might be there. So probably squarely in C, most likely for the apostate.
Yeah, I think so.
It has its use cases. We have to see the performance of both the cultist and assassin on the battlefield. So it's sort of like a unit attachment that gives extra value to the unit that it's bringing. So if the unit itself is maybe not very useful, so then the attachment point goes down with him as well.
But it can only be brought with the Hashashin, right?
Yeah, and the cultist.
Oh, the cultist, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of the.
I don't know the cultist. Okay, we'll get to the cultist later.
We'll get to the cultist in a bit. Yes. So next up we
All
have
right.
the Atanatoy. Ben, would you like to take it away?
So Senatoi have got Bodyguard, which is a interesting special ability, which not everybody gets. And I'm actually a little bit irritated that 100 Kingdom doesn't have any access to this. But basically, it means that the unit's character can reject duels with no downside, so they don't get broken. And let's just take a very quick look at what else the other toy have. They are medium. They've got Memories of Old as counter attack, so you don't really need it, but they do have Flurry and 2 attacks each, which at 170, they can bring the Princeps and the Dark Cenotaph. Dark Cenotaph is...
1 per army.
Ooh, but it gives them Dread, though.
So
I don't know.
you can
With
build
2
them,
attacks
yeah.
at 170 is pretty good.
I like it.
But D2 is rough. D2 is rough.
Yep.
I go B. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think.
Would you
this
give
is
them? Would you give them an A for the 2 attacks? At 170 at 2 attacks, you're getting a good deal, right?
It's
Especially with
almost-
Flurry.
It's almost Vanguard clone level of level, right? So I think Vanguard clone, if I'm not mistaken, is around that much point as well. Comes in with 2 attack, but slightly better defense at defense 3. But at the same time, these guys don't have resolve and flurry. They have flurry.
Well, Vanguard clones are movement 6.
You good point. Princess.
Yeah, so-
Well, okay, you
okay.
can build them. You can build them to be expensive and sort of there, but their usage is very glass cannony. I think they'll get shot down relatively easy with that stats line, and with movement 5, they will struggle to get to where they need. So
Yeah,
I'm good with that assessment of B for the Atana
yeah.
boys.
Let's. Can I just check? Are they a Ziliarch mainstay?
Good point. Let's check what mainstay they are. If it's in Ziliarch, they can potentially attack 3 times. Well,
Exactly, and that's why I'm thinking like they're not that terrible because two times, right? Not 3. Right?
well, oh yeah. I mean, attack twice and then they attack twice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're restricted in Ziliarch.
Yeah,
and
so
mainstay is
that's
pretty
not
good.
terrible.
Huh, mainstay. Is
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would say solid B. Maybe probably not A, but solid B.
You're not unhappy to see them, but they're not exactly the first thing that you bring, because for Silly Arc, where it's sort of like the wombo combo with the supremacy as a restricted option, you'd bring this thing or the Varangian Guard. So you sort of have to take, one or two, and I think you like Varangian Guard better in that situation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Alright.
B it is.
B it is. Okay, the next one, the horse-looking thing, is Butchapaloi, which the model's not out yet. So Butchapaloi is, I believe, let me quickly go through my notes here. So Butchapaloi is a brute heavy with a movement of 6 at 220 points. Clash 3, Attack 4, Wound 5, Defense 3 with Cleave 3. Holy crap.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude, it's got unstoppable charge.
Brutal Impact 1, Unstoppable,
Plus
Unstoppable
2.
Charge, and Brutal Impact plus 2. Wow. Spicy,
This
spicy
thing is
unit.
disgusting. Oh my god. No, this is wow. But 220 points is heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive, and I think you can only bring them in Hero Deacon, if I'm not mistaken.
Look at what. So you can bring two attachments. The first one is Keeper of the Dead, which is Harden plus 1, which is whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But look at Key Warden.
Yeah.
If you successfully charge, you get the effects of Fury plus 2. And you gain the effects of Fury plus 2. So you can still do your Memories of Old in tier 2, and then charge and then get plus 2 dice basically. But it doesn't affect your impact charges, your impact rolls. So you will, if you charge and clash, your clash is going to be at 6 dice each model at Cleave 3.
At Cleave 3. So this is
And
under the restriction option for Hero Deacon. Butchapalo is one of them. And I think I've playtested this unit in my playtest, and so far whatever they charge, they break. Is the standing I have here for these guys.
Why am I not surprised?
So what do you think of this this unit?
I think this is one of those A's. The movement 6 is a bit weak, so you're not going to get a lot of long bomb charges. But I definitely think it's an A.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I definitely think. I mean, do you think it's an S though? I don't.
So
It's got a very good stat line.
Yeah, my only sort of problem is that this is very reliant on your roll to come out, right? There's no way to give it flank because the banner only comes in with the infantry model, and this is a brute, so you sort of have to like either the scenario has to support like heavy duty, which gives you I think +2 into your reinforcement roll for heavy, which these guys will definitely be benefiting from.
No, if you bring one of the characters with Dominion, your whole army gets a +1.
Reinforcement +1, right? Yeah. So you
Yeah,
can
so
definitely,
they can.
Yeah.
Woof. Yeah, this guy's strong, man. I come to think of it.
It's
Yeah, but I
pretty
guess
high A.
the point is having to get close. It's 5 wounds as compared to the bone golems, which are 6. So yeah, I would say A.
I think it's in the high A's definitely.
Yeah, high A,
Stats,
yeah.
Defensive stats a bit, defense 3 with no resolve is okay, but and I still like them because even if they get charged first, they can still do their cleave 3.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
takes
they're
away
not
a
like
lot of-
knights where if you get charged and then you get
Yeah, you're sad. All right, our first A here,
Okay.
the Butchapalo. Pretty good stuff. Okay, next one also an unreleased unit, but I think this is the 2 art that was released by Parabellum. I think one of them is Caryatid and one of them is Canaphore, and we sort of believe that the Canaphore is sort of the more tankier looking one. So this is a unit that hasn't come out yet. It's a brute heavy at 230 points with movement of 6, clash of 3, attack 4, 4 wounds, defense 3, evasion 2, with flurry, cleave, harden, blessed, and untouchable. This is like just random stats go, like all these special rules.
You just decided to just throw everything together
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah, so harden 1 reduces your cleave by 1. Blessed means that you can reroll your defense or your attack once per round. Untouchable negates support bonus, if I'm not mistaken. And Flawless Strike is... I can't remember what Flawless Strike
All the
is.
strikes is if you roll 1, then every time you roll 1, that counts as smite, basically.
So back during the playtesting, these units are sort of unkillable almost because of their hardened 1 and blessed, and their defense 3 and evasion 2. But I think they nerfed the wound just a bit from I think they went from wound 6 to now it's just wound 4, and they increased the class from from medium to heavy. So this has taken some hit, but I think it's a really good unit though. With movement of 6, it's not probably not as like insanely hard hitting as the Butchapaloi, and it so happens that they're competing in the same slot for the Hero Deacon because they're only available for the Hero Deacon. Well, I say Hero Deacon, but Fallen Divinity also has access to it. So it's sort of competing in the same spot as our dear Butchapaloi here. What do you think, Ben?
Points wise, it is the same. No, it's 10 points more expensive.
Mm.
I would actually, between the two, I would go with the Butchapaloi.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, they both have 3d3, wounds 4. I mean, yeah, Bless is great, but having an extra wound is definitely more reliable than, rerolling dice. We all know you can reroll into the same fail.
And they have the I think they don't have any interesting attachment points. Yeah, they don't have any unique attachment to them. So, unfortunate. So I'm probably gonna put them in high.
Oh, not only do they not have a unique attachment, they cannot bring a banner, so they do not have Unstoppable.
Whereas the Butchapaloi can bring a banner. No,
No, the Butchapaloi
it comes with an unstoppable. You don't need no banner.
Yeah, so I don't know. I always find units that can't have a banner or get Unstoppable, they're a little bit unreliable because every once in a while you roll a 1 and
Yep.
you just miss the charge. Yeah, so I'm with you on that one.
High B probably. It's again. I think it's just a case of competing slots between
Yep.
the Butchapaloi
Yeah.
and the and these guys. I would put Butchapaloi like on top.
For sure.
The next one is again another unreleased unit. This sort of comes in the same casus as the Canaphore, which I probably feel that they might be releasing like a dual kit situation, which I think Parabellum likes to
They're
do.
quite common.
Yeah, it's quite common because I think shape wise they might be fairly similar. They're both like animated statue, but one is melee, which is the Canaphore, and one is Caryatid, which is the archer unit. So this is sort of the first archer unit that Old Dom has access to. So number one, it's already sort of like a high point because Old Dominion doesn't have any range attacks.
Yep. Well, they do have a very, very annoying ghost unit.
Yeah, but it's like a short range shot. It's movement 6 with like I think only like range. They're like the javelin of Wadrun. Short range.
No, the Javelin is 14. They are 16, and they have true shot as well. Yeah.
All right.
And you guys are always obscured, so it's woof, those Keres. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's not a dedicated range unit.
Yep. So the Caryatids is a brute medium with movement of 6, volley of 2, clash of 2, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, with defense 3 and evasion 1. It has a rule of Barrage 3 at 30 inch, armor piercing 2, and deadly shot, with the Memories of Vault ability at Barrage +1. So at 30 inch, armor piercing 2, and deadly shot, is this like an anti-archer unit?
Yes, definitely. It's definitely meant to take out enemy archers. But okay, not really because you don't need armor piercing 2 to take out enemy archers.
Ballistas. Yes, you do.
Dude, who's got whole ballista?
True.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it is quite strong. What is the command model on this guy?
Unfortunately,
Do
the
it
Airy,
formation.
yes, give it full formation. 1 inch extra movement ish is okay, and Barrage +1 is also okay, making them Barrage 4. So what? Say at like a full unit at 30 inch, it's gonna shoot 5 + 1 shot, 6 shots at 2. With deadly shot and armor piercing.
Fantastic, I think.
This used to be in the playtest. They used to be 36 inch.
Wow. Do they have like these really huge bows or something?
Yeah, I mean from the looks of it, they have like a giant ass bow. But yeah, I mean this is medium, I guess. Not overly bad, not overly okay. Let me see the condition of the mainstay or restricted requirements. Again, they come under the restricted option for Hero Deacon and Fallen Divinity. So that sort of, again, decreases their utility even more so. Probably in the same
Yeah, I
level as
don't know. I
the kind of four. Maybe slightly better than
what
the kind of
tier was
four.
that?
B tier. Maybe slightly better than the kind
B
of
tier.
four.
Yeah, okay. I think I could agree with B. Yeah, B sounds alright. The only worry I have is that most range units make it in on light. So coming in at
At
medium
medium,
is
yeah. Well, but Marksman Clone comes
yeah.
in at medium, but they have volumes of shot, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that, that means that when you're on turn two rolling for these guys, they're gonna be competing for the same spot as your mainstays that you also need to get in
Ah,
early.
Legionnaires. Yeah,
Right.
Legionnaires.
Yeah, so I don't know their effectiveness. But yeah, I think B. B makes sense.
Yep, yep. Squarely in a B. Next one, we have one or two Centaur units. The first one is the Centaur Kerikes, coming in at 200 points. Movement of 8. Ooh. Hello. Movement of 8 with volley 2, clash 2, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, defense 3, evasion 1. Barrage 3, 16-inch, armor piercing 1, deadly shot, and strong arm. Ah, this is the mobile archer unit that I was saying to you. I was saying Barrage
Wait, this
3,
is the
the Centaur Archer.
Centaur.
The Centaur Archer.
Ah, right. Yeah. These are the decent ones. But the problem is that this is almost the exact stat line as the Keres.
Yeah, but they're speed 8. And
Which is two more, but then you're competing at 200 points. I think the Keres is not too far off from that. Yeah,
also,
150.
it's a
Oh,
mainstay option for the Hero Deacon.
Okay.
So you can sort of like they're both competing again in roughly the same spot. I just like speed 8 on an archer unit because it can threaten a flank and harass them like raptors, right? They're basically sort of like but raptor is light. Never mind, that's not a comparison. I don't know. Seems like we have a bunch of mediocre archer units here. What do you think of this one?
This guy's got deadly shot, armor piercing. Well, I think this is the anti-archer.
And the
Sure
anti-archer
shot
archer
is a
unit.
memory of old. Very yet strong. I I see him as a B.
Yeah,
You
I
think this
think
guy goes A? Yeah, I think he goes B. He can't get to Barrage 4, right? So he's almost always going to be doing threes. At 16,
the
the
deadly
threat
shot
range isn't
you
great.
can sort of pray to the enemy rolls badly, and with strong arm, it's always shooting and
Always three
volley.
shots.
Yeah, always 3 shots. Yeah. Okay.
And you're size 2, so you see over a lot of things.
True. Ah, you can also see over your screens.
Yeah.
Important. Okay. No special attachment on this one, so this is fairly standard unit, probably slightly better than the cannon force, but probably same spot as like the Karyatit. They're both like range unit. One is slightly faster with weaker shot. One is slower with the more powerful shot. So it's sort of like it really depends on what you want to do. And because it's a mainstay, you can bring both, I guess, if you want to, and make a gunline ultim list. That's a sight. So next is the other Centaur unit. This one is Centaur Prodromoi, coming in at 170 points. It's a light cavalry with movement of 8, clash 2, attack of 4, wound 4, defense 2, evasion 1, cleave 1, throwing weapons, which means that it can charge. It gets an impact hit because it's a light. Normally, light unit don't get impact hits. And with the Memories of Old, it gains Unstoppable Charge 1, Unstoppable Charge, and Brutal Impact. Now, this is sort of like the Raptor without the range attack kind of deal here with the Prodromoi.
Yeah, this is the real mounted threat, I think, that's coming up.
Let me just
Yeah,
quickly,
I don't know.
let me just quickly
I
check
would put
like
this guy,
who
and
can
at
bring it.
170 for light, with unstoppable charge and brutal impact and throwing weapons. I think he's actually. I'm gonna go out here and say I think this is a S tier.
Ooh, So it comes in with the mainstay option for Strategos. So
Mainstay.
it's a mainstay. So it's a nice complement, which means that you can bring, I don't know, one unit of Centaur Prodromoi, one unit of Legionnaire, or alternatively you play the mounted
And just attach
Strategos.
him in, right?
No, no, and
Yeah.
then you play the mounted Strategos, and you bring Centaur Prodromoi with the mounted Strategos, and then you bring Catapraktoi on top of that as well. Spicy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, mounted old Dom. Here we go. Yeah? No?
And it's light at 170 points. Like, I'm kind of failing right now to think. Oh, my Raptors are 190 for 3.
With less
They don't have
defensive stats.
throwing weapons. Yeah, they don't have D3. They have E2. They don't have Cleave. They have Flurry. Movement is a bit better at, I think they're 8 as well, or maybe 9. I think they're 8. And
They have
then
less volume of
Clash
attack
2.
because they don't
They
have
do have
flurry.
5 attacks.
And flurry.
Yeah, we do have 5. Yeah, and Flurry. So, but they don't have Unstoppable Charge and Brutal Impact. I do realize that the Prodromoi do not have Unstoppable though.
Ah, yes. So speed 8, you sort of have to plan out your charges to make them the best out of it. But it's a good unit. Like it's a light unit. It comes out fast. It extends your reinforcement line down the middle. There's nothing to dislike about this unit, really. Yeah, no, I think this is probably an S tier, pending further comments. Because, like in my experience playing Conquest, having a light unit that can extend your reinforcement line quite fast is like very good. I think when Dwecom, one of my Dwecom player used to play the Automata to sort of extend before they get the Feral rule, which means they can't do it anymore. But light unit with so much sort of firepower at this much high of a speed, definitely in. It makes your archer scared. It makes your light unit scared, and it can mess up like your reinforcement lines, yeah, and grab objectives. Not exactly contest objectives, but they can sort of like, stay on the objective and then threaten whoever decides to charge them. Really like it. I really like this unit.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty good.
Okay, cool.
So S tier?
S tier.
S tier it is. The
Hoping
first
not-
S tier, guys.
Hoping not to get nerfed. before
I
release.
think it will. I think it will. Unstoppable charge. This guy basically means he can march charge. But you gotta get to, because it's light. There is that problem that he's gonna have to get to tier 2 to make a Memories of All the Joy event.
Yeah, but you just like move turn 1 and then second turn move charge. Easy.
The second turn you won't be at tier 2, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that by turn 2 he will be 16 inch ahead, and then on a 48 times 48, that's already sort of like half the table. And then if the enemy makes a play that's slightly weak, or they're holding back, or maybe they go in front, they can just move in charge and can threaten 8 plus 16 plus charge, which is there. And because they have impact hit, it's really annoying. Like this is a very annoying unit. I don't want to see it, because like I like playing Spire, where I summon my spellcaster with a minimum unit of Force Grown Drones, and then when I see these guys on the opposite side of the battlefield, I get nervous. Okay, next one we have is the Centurion. So the Centurion is an attachment that comes in, I believe, to Legionnaires, and gives him Flawless Drill. Would you like to enlighten us what Flawless Drill does, Ben? If you have it open.
Flawless Drill allows you to do a combat reform for free, actually.
As if we don't get a free reform anyway with Old Dom, because we can't inspire.
Yeah, so it does kind of feel a little bit superfluous.
And I have to pay 20 points for this? Nah, man. Nah.
Why else would you do this? I actually can't think of a reason why you would need this.
The only use case I would see this is when you never mind. There is no use case for this thing. I feel bad though, because the name is so cool. It's a Centurion, and yet you can, like, I understand Flawless Drill is a cool name also, but free reform in a unit that's like Old Dom already can get like free reform anyway. Yeah, I don't like it. It's definitely a D tier, and I hope they either rework this or do something else for the Centurion. Okay, next on the docket we have Cultist. So Ben, would you like to take us through what Cultist does?
Not my favorite unit in that army, but they are kind of cheap. So I think the cultists, they have standard stat line. They are human, so they have a resolve
Oh no.
number. Yeah, so it's March 5, volley 2, clash 1, attack 1, wound 1, R2, D1, E1. They have strong arm. They have oblivious because I guess they're not stupid, but I think they are like fanatical,
Yes.
so they don't run that easily. They have barrage 1, 12 inches. They have lethal demise, and they have liquid anathema. So they are the ones who can bring the apostate, which has the flank rule, which I really wouldn't waste on these guys. What I do like about them is their cost. They're only 105 points, but because they don't have animate vessel, it does mean that they're also not going to add to your dark power. So really, I don't see them used very much. The only special rule which you don't see very often, and it is here, is the liquid anathema, and that means that if you hit a unit and that unit takes damage from any aura of death effect, it takes +2 hits this turn, which is not.
You sort of have to like combo the activation, and I think the only sort of thing that can do combo really well is chain activation via, I don't know, the supremacy of the High Clone Executor, or like when you cast a spell and then you do something else. So chaining combo is a bit difficult. On the plus side, the Cultist is actually a mainstay for the 2 spellcasters, so Hero Deacon and Archimandrite. So in theory, you can stick them onto a unit and then they become like a cheap bunker for your commander that don't want to see any combat at all, if you want it to be. So
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. But I don't know, Resolve 2 D1 E1. It's rough.
Look, if you want to have a unit that literally doesn't do anything, and just for your commander to be on the battlefield, you sort of consider
I would still get Legionaries for another 15 points, and it gives you 12 wounds with no resolve, so they don't run anywhere, and D2. So I think this is actually trash tier. I mean, I hate the spells that don't scale, rules that don't scale, and liquid anathema is just not great. I don't know why I can't conquer this word. But yeah, it adds 2 to the total hits received from Aura of Death. So it doesn't scale. It doesn't make like Aura of Death +2 or +1. It just gives a fat +2. Yeah, not fantastic. I don't know. What do you think?
They're a very awkward unit. I think when I was sort of playing with Old Dominion, I was trying out these cultists because I know that they're there for a reason, and up until now, I still don't see the reason why they exist. Number one, because I thought that okay, they're going to be a cheap unit that I can sacrifice, right, for my dark power. No, they're human. They don't have animate vessels, so you can't even do that. I'm like, okay, what the support ability do they have? Look at Anathema. Try it out. +2 is like whatever. Like 6 Aura of Death hit now becomes 8. Ooh, big deal. But yeah, I mean, there is a market for these guys when you simply just want your commander on the battlefield and you don't really care what unit they are in. But yeah, probably C tier at best. It's not exactly unplayable, but it's definitely very, very underlooked. This cultist, I don't see a use case for them at all for now. Or probably even D tier.
I would.
Do you want to like be controversial and just put them in like trash tier?
Yeah, I think they are. I really don't see a use for these guys. They don't help you in the early game to push up your dark power. They don't do anything. They're just so.
They're just there.
Meh. Yeah, it's just meh. It's like I mean, yeah, if you want to activation count your way out, but why would you want to do that with Old Dom where they can't even add to
it doesn't
your dark
achieve,
power?
It doesn't increase. It doesn't achieve towards your goal, right? Which is either defeat your dark power pool, or to sort of be a very scary unit with no resolve because they just die to anything. They get charged with anything, they die, and then sure they have what's that rule that they when they die they explode, lethal demise, but yeah, no, okay, trash tier, unfortunate. Let's go. Let's continue. Next one we have is the Dark Cenotaph. So this is the 1 per army attachment. This regiment gains the Dread special rule as long as it consists of 6 or less stand. Now, I can't remember what Dread does on top of my head. Maybe Ben can remind me.
It basically means that you can enemy units engaged with them can never be counted as inspired.
Ooh.
So interesting thing here, guys. If you come across Dread and you have the rule Dauntless, right? So one says you can never be inspired and one says you're always inspired, you cross each other out. Nothing actually takes precedence, so you can inspire, but you have to use an action for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's at least what I heard in the Vanguard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chat. Yeah.
So Dark Cenotaph is 25 points. Again, point cost quite expensive. You sort of ideally you want to stick them in like your big blob of unit that you sort of sit on the middle of the battlefield, and then enemy when they punch you they can't never be inspired. So then you have a higher survivability, but at the same time it also takes up your precious attachment slot, which I would prefer to give it like Optio, because give like the flank move is really good. But what do you think? I'm a bit like the model is really really cool, but for me I'm a bit about this attachment.
Yeah, I don't see a point in paying 25 points, and the reason is that your Ziliarch or your Strategos can come with the Aura of Malice. And this gives them basically the same... Aura of Malice gives you and all friendly regiments with 6 or less stands within 8 inches gain the Dread special rule.
Lol.
So if you're going to have a center line, and if you see how OD plays, they typically do have a center line, you can have 2 units on the side that also have Dread. For 40 points, you get 3 units. I think that's a lot of a better deal. Yeah. So I would kind of put this in probably C at 40 points.
Low C.
25 points. Yeah, low C. Yeah.
Model wise, really, really freaking cool. Like just carrying the tomb of the the dead soldier. It's really cool. But oh man, attachment in this game is really like either you it's like mandatory to bring, or it's like you leave them at home. There's no like middle ground to attachment in this game. Is the way I see it. It's either like a must have or you don't bring it. Okay, so let's continue. I think we talked about Erinias already. It's a unique attachment for the Caryatids. It just gives them fluid formation, but considering how lukewarm we are in terms of reception for the Caryatids, paying an extra like however much point for these guys is probably not where we want to be. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I mean, it's only 15 points, but still, I mean, I don't want to give them extra. I don't want to increase cost for like a unit that's already like meh for me. and besides,
yeah, exactly.
And besides, with how the attachment rule works, right? And there's only like 3 units there. So if the second one dies, you already lost that area, yes. Because the first one is the leader, right? There's only 3, right? So the first one is the leader. The second one is the Erinias, and then you have a spare one. So if 2 of them dies, that's your 15 points gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see you needing to do fluid formation with these guys, because if you're brute class, you're typically large already, so you're seeing over most things.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't see it.
All right, next one is my favorite model in the entire game. So without any biased opinion, it's on S tier. Found Divinity. Go ahead, Ben.
I can't argue that. I haven't seen it in play, but it is definitely S tier. I haven't seen anyone play that level, that kind of Old Dominion yet. You guys have seen the battle reports. I've only seen the other one. But I looking at it with Blessed and how it heals every time. There's no easy way to take them out. My strategy would be taking it out in tier 2, but that's a crapshoot, right? no idea if that's gonna work.
Yeah, so I think like Fallen Divinity. So for me, my experience in building a Fallen Divinity list is that your list literally has to support the Fallen Divinity by either bringing up a bunch of hero deacons so that you sacrifice your own unit to defeat the Fallen Divinity, because your goal is to feed as much dark power as possible to the pool, and then she becomes tier 3 and just wrecks everything. But at the same time, you sort of have to be careful, because if you lose the majority of your army, and she's your only model, which sort of like half remaining on the field, because she's a light, she can't really contest anything. So you can still like lose out on VP while having an unkillable monster on the field. So it's sort of like a balancing thing that's good. But at the same time, if you get her to tier 3 and then your army is still fairly intact, oh man, good luck dealing with that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's S tier, clearly.
So definitely, once you have the Fallen Divinity at your shop, Ben, make a battle report. I can't wait to see it perform.
I think after Zach needs to lose first, and then after that he will consider trying another way of playing Old Dominion.
Oh, seems that this Zach has a unbeatable Old Dominion list.
He has been doing very well, but I'm sure he'll make a mistake soon. So, just waiting
Alright.
for it.
The next
Hubris
one
will help me out here.
Yeah. So the next one is Assassin. So the Assassin is the second human unit for Old Dominion. This one is fairly powerful, despite it being a human. Let me quickly go to the stats of this Assassin. It's a 200 points. Ooh, I just realized how expensive it is. 200 points for a medium unit at movement 5, clash 2, 2 attacks, wound 1, resolve 3, D1, E2 with Cleave 1, Foolery, and Vanguard.
Vanguard's not bad. Vanguard's not bad.
Vanguard's not bad. Cleave 1, Flurry, 2 attacks, not bad. 200 points, pretty bad.
You're gonna add 20 points for the Deadly Blades if you've got Flurry and
The
2
Master
attacks
Assassin,
each.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna end up at 220. It's 220 for this. Oof.
Oof.
E2 and R3 means, for every 4 hits you're gonna be taking every 3 hits. No, wait, let me think about this. Every 6 hits you're gonna be taking 6 wounds. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because you'll take 4 in the E2 out of 6, you'll take 4. Then of the 4 you'll fail 2. So out of 6 hits you'll take 6 wounds. Which is that's rough.
So initially, like, my thought with Assassin is that it's a fairly good unit to come in and blast your opponent, but they're so squishy, and even when they die, you don't really get a lot of benefits, because
I like to also remind you they don't have Unstoppable. They don't have a banner.
Oh no, and they can't.
So again, you're gonna be like charging
They're an
at
assassin.
8s.
They're an assassin. Of course, they're not gonna bring a banner. That's like, it's like, hi guys, we're a unit of assassins. So we're gonna charge you now.
I mean, yeah, but then get them Unstoppable or something. Like this is rough,
Or at
man.
least
Like they're gonna
6, right? Like they're already not wearing armor. They're already not wearing armor. Give them like movement 6, Jesus.
I mean, these guys smoke something before battle or something. I don't know.
Hash has said, probably not as like that. Is it the same level as Cultist?
I think so. I just don't see
Maybe
where this
slightly
guy's
better
gonna go.
than Cultist.
And the thing is that we actually can see what all the characters are basically released at this point. So I don't even see what character would do really well in this unit.
Nah, yeah, that's
you
the
know?
problem. Because the human, I like the concept that these are humans sort of like serving the Old Dominion, blah blah blah. But they just don't work, because if they don't have animate vessel, they're not exactly achieving what you want to achieve in an Old Dom. And the way that I feel is when they're on the field, they're just running around. They do whatever. They die to a stiff breeze, and then you go, why did I spend 220 points for this unit where I can bring in a ton of toy? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you take 200 points. It's 220 because you're gonna go Deadly Blades.
Yeah.
Right. Then you're looking at let's say another medium. Caryatids.
Yep.
Yeah. 200 points, easy. This is such a much better unit, right? Can shoot from 30, it can pull enemies in. If they don't decide to engage you, then, just sit there and just keep getting smacked with dead. And it's got deadly shot. For 200 points, 20 points cheaper, you get deadly shot. You can do what this guy is doing 30
From a
inches
range.
away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Easily.
also Assassin, like they fight in the medium slot, like it's such a premium slot for medium. It's
Yeah, and you just know that PB is gonna make beautiful models of these guys, so they look so cool, but they're not gonna do anything. I think it will actually be a dual kit with the cultists.
with the cultists, yeah.
Because
It
you're gonna be wearing cloaks and cowls and yeah.
But it's okay.
You just know it.
Yeah, but like I think the dual kit strategy is really well, and you can see like sort of like the mirror design of the two units with dual kits, right? You can really tell that these are possibly designed with like the two centaurs. You just swap them. One will carry like a spear, one will carry a javelin, and you have a range unit and one is a melee unit. Yeah, so
Yeah.
really like the direction. So and you can see from like the document that they're sort of like a mirror design of each other, sort of like designed for like the same unit with just different sort of stat line or like weapon selection. Okay, next one we have the Catapraktoi. I think without saying this is already an 8 here, because Ben really hates them.
Which
you
ones?
like Catapraktoi?
Oh, I think this is S, man. But okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
could be.
Cataphractoi, they can actually move 7. They have March 7. They've got Clash 2. They have A5, which is important because they also have Unstoppable Charge as their memories of old. So it means that the impact hits, they're actually doing 6 per stand. They have D3 and Shield and Brutal Impact too. They also have Shock, just in case, you didn't die to the charge. They'll finish you off with Clash. So their command model is the Hetaros, and that gives them Overrun. And I've gone over this a few times on my channel, but I'll just go over it one more time. It is when this regiment declares a charge action against a broken regiment or causes the target of their charge action to become broken as a result of their impact hits, this regiment may perform their impact hits again. So their base unit, which is just going to be 220, typically you take at least one more, so you'd have 4 stands. That will give you 24 impact hits at Clash 2.
Love to see it.
And then you're basically terrifying 1 all the time. If you're at tier 3, you're terrifying 2. So and then if you break them, you get to do your impact hits again. Now, when you do the impact hits again, if the enemy regiment is shattered or destroyed by this regiment's impact hits, this regiment is allowed to perform a charge action as its second action, even though it has already charged this turn. So, if you look at it that way, you have the ability to actually charge a unit, break it, do impact hits again to shatter it, and then you can charge one more time and do another 2 impact hits potentially. So this is the only guy in the game right now who has this rule, and it allows them to do 4 impact hits. So it's really, really powerful.
All right, Ben, you
really,
sold me.
really powerful.
It's an S tier for that and the attachment. I think like there's no point in not bringing the attachment, because just like how much points extra for like an extra 30 points. Wow, you get like that much of an upgrade, where you just want to be charging anyway.
Yeah. And the thing is that what I like about it, I mean, even though I don't like it, is that it kind of counters the ability for people to just screen.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, like when I play my 6-man household knight list, right? Wow, it's so scary, and then someone throws like 3 stands of stalkers. Then I gotta go hit the stalkers, and then the Yotna is right behind there, waiting for me to charge the stalkers, and then go like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And then it's game over. Yeah, so yeah, I think S tier, solid.
Yep. Will they get a nerf? Next? Will they get a nerf?
I think they will, but then the question is, I don't think they'll nerf them entirely. I think what they'll nerf is probably the overrun special rule. I don't think. I think overrun, the allowing them to do the second impact is a problem,
Because they can potentially do it 4 times because of how shock works, right?
Exactly. So I would say like, either you let them, if they wipe out a unit, they can charge, or if you break or shatter them and you have to do the second impact, then you don't get to make the second charge.
Yep.
Yeah, because right now they're giving them 4 actions for 30 points. That's ridiculous. Yeah, but I understand a second action, right?
So also like because they do it on the charge, so essentially when they get bogged down by someone, you can actually do a first action retreat and then charge.
Yep. That makes sense.
You can also do that, and because you have a leader, you only take d6 rounded down from a retreat. Yeah, cool.
Okay. Yep.
Next is the 2 attachment for the Butchapaloi. Because of how cool Butchapaloi is, they get 2 unique attachment. The first one is the Key Warden, and then the second one is the Keeper of the Dead. So Keeper of the Dead gives it Harden +1, so they ignore 1 points of cleave. And then the second one is against the effect of Fury +2, draw events so long as perform a successful charge action this activation. I think like the Harden +1 on a unit that sort of I don't like it. I don't like the giving Harden +1. So for Keeper of the Dead, it's probably almost unusable. Because Harden +1, you really just want firepower on this unit. So giving it defensive ability is an option, but you really just want to spend 30 points somewhere else.
You end up paying for it, right? So
35 points? No, I'm not paying 35 points for Harden +1. Key Warden, though.
Yeah.
Now that's something.
Can it go anywhere else, like where it's useful?
You mean
just trying to look through the list really quick, and
no,
does it go anywhere else?
No, it's an exclusive Butchapaloi. only Butchapaloi is
here. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. 35 points seems pretty trash.
No.
Yeah. It's more than 10% of your bloody point cost.
No.
I toss it.
Definitely no. For Fury plus, how would you rate Fury +2 for 25 points?
I kind of feel that if you got Memories of Old off with this unit and you charged and clashed, I think it's like overwinning. Like you don't need it.
True.
Like if you've got 3 guys, they're going from 12 to 16 hits, which is kind of overkill, I think.
Yeah, it's already an overkill.
You wouldn't need, and you already clashed 3.
Yep.
Which is rare in this army.
Yeah, that's true. Normally it's clashed 2. So probably C. You're not exactly happy to see it, but if you want it, it's there. But I would just put it on like already a vanilla unit and just let it shine on its own without any support.
Yeah, I'm always a little bit cautious with placing points on heavy units because it's more things that are going to come in later. Yeah, so
right.
I put trash.
Up next is Keres. So Keres is the range variant of one of the 2 spooky units, because they're ghost, coming in at 150 points with movement of 6, volley 2, C1, A1, wound 1, D1, and E2.
So I know you're a Moroi fan.
I'm a Moroi fan, but in this patch, Keres seems quite good for 150 points.
I think they're actually S tier.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why, right? Because firstly, they have got strong arm. They have got sure shot, right? So it basically means that they have line of sight. You're gonna take 12 hits, or you're gonna take 12 shots at 2s, right? That's if you're at 16. Now, if you're at 16, their tactic is going to be aim, shoot. If you're not in 16 and you're within 12, then they're going to shoot and they're going to cast a spell.
Yes.
And then the thing that what do we all like to do to light units like this? We like to charge them. And if you dare to charge a Keres, right, and they have an ability to get to, if they're at tier 2 already, they will draw event Memories of Old, they will action Memories of Old, and then the last action will be a spell. And then that will be per stand, priest 3.
Insanity.
Yeah, so it can be really, really bad. So the counter to typical light range skirmishes, you can't do on the Keres. So for that reason, I'd say it's S tier.
I think now with the multitudes of nerfs that they given to Moroi, well deserved nerf for Moroi, and the fact that Keres is also a mainstay. I believe it's a mainstay option right now.
Yeah, it is a mainstay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say now Keres is definitely the better choice for all the reasons that Ben said. And again, light unit with speed of 6, it can come in relatively early. It's really good. Okay.
Yeah, sorry guys, I've got a bit of PTSD. So basically everything that Zach uses, I'm putting in S tier.
No. You learn by losing, and this is a learning process.
Oh, I should be very wise then.
Yeah. Okay, the next one we have is the Legionnaires. So I think this is just squarely in the A tier, just simply because of it's a mainstay option for a reason.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's fairly good.
it's a very good mainstay. Like it's very well designed at 120 points with defense 1 plus shield with support. You know, the stats is whatever, but it has no resolve. And you can slap like a bunch of upgrades into it if you want to. Yeah, nothing much to say. It's a very
Nothing much.
mainstay
Yeah. It's just,
unit, and
mainstay unit. Yeah,
you should definitely buy a bunch of these because having a
you're gonna need them.
you're gonna need them in all your list most likely.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is Moroi. So I think Moroi used to be the shit. Now it's still pretty good, but they're not. There used to be they're a shadow of their former selves. They still come in at like 165 points. Like the two nerfs that they give to both Keres and Moroi is that they must buy a spell. It used to be it's just an option to buy a spell, but now you have to buy the spell for. So for an extra 15 points, you have to buy a spell.
Yeah.
So they're not exactly like 150 points.
So 180 basically.
Yeah, it's 180 points, and at that point, 180 points is a fairly expensive unit for something that you're probably just gonna throw to the enemy, let them deal with it, die, get some benefit, and if they don't handle with it, it comes in with a clash to 2 attacks each, Aura of Death 2. So it's one of those things that's the strength of Moroi used to be in the cost and like just how much you can bring for such cheap of a package. Now the package minimum is 180 points, so half considering their usage, but they're still very good for a light unit with clash to 2 attacks. 2 attacks for light units is ridiculous. If you think about it.
It's a bit overkill on light, I think.
Yeah, so I think like out of all the light options available, Keres is definitely higher on the tier simply because it's a range unit that can also cast spell. If you don't deal with them, they will deal with you. Meanwhile, Moroi is sort of falls into roughly the same category as well. If they get charged first, their attack effectiveness goes down quite dramatically. But if you can get them to Alpha Strike, thanks to their Aura of Death and their 2 attacks, they can do a lot of damage to the opponent. So I think this is an A tier, and we're just gonna leave it at that probably. Okay, next we have the Optio. The Optio is an attachment that gives Vanguard, so extra movement if no enemies within 8 inch of that when they start their movement. And you can give this Optio to your Legionnaires, your Praetorian Guard. No, Praetorian Guard doesn't have Optio. So Legionnaires, just Legionnaires? Huh. I see.
Wait, what? The other guy? Oh yeah, he doesn't.
Huh. The more we know. Interesting. So, how would you rate this Optio? Like, Vanguard is a powerful ability because extra movement, especially for like a slow army, is useful. But you can only bring it to your Legionnaires, and you have to pay. The points is not that expensive. It's only, I think, 15 points for Optio, so it's not going to break your bank. But what do you think of this unit?
I don't find a need for it in the army. Why I say that is because I don't find that you need to rush the board with Old Dominion.
Hmm.
You want your whole line to kind of meet at the same time. So that if they're engaged with 2 units and whoever they kill, the other one gets stronger, and then you slowly grind the enemy down. That's how I find OD works. So yeah, so I just don't think I just don't see it. I just don't see the use to why you'd want. I mean, unless you're gonna pay for all your units to jump up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having like one unit with like your sort of advanced movement can make your line extremely messy during the mid game where you have like one unit stranded and then the other guys have to sort of catch up to them,
Catch up.
or you don't want to use the vanguard move because you don't want to move to move faster, in which case you're wasting 15 points on an attachment that you rather upgrade something else. So I can see the point. Cool model, but again, with cool model comes unfortunate ability. Again, attachments, right? Attachments in general is either like you have your Hitaros, which is insane, or you have a Key Warden and your Centurion, which does absolutely nothing. Waste of a cool model.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next one we have Praetorian Guard. So Praetorian Guard is sort of like the tanky variant of the Legionnaires, coming in at a much higher defense stat, but slightly weaker attack because it doesn't have the support special rule. And it's a restricted option for a few of the commander, except for Ciliarch, which comes in as the mainstay for the Ciliarch. But other than that, it's a restricted option for the Strategos and the Strategos, and also like the Archimandrite. I don't like this unit. I feel like it's too defensive. If it sounds weird, but they are. Well, what do you think?
I think people have seen it used by Zach, and the way he uses them, pretty good. They can't kill you through clashing, but their aura of death can really. So he actually puts the aura of malice, the one we discussed earlier, inside this unit, so that everyone around it gets dread. And then on top of that, he also has got D5. So trying to kill this unit is difficult. And then when you can't kill it, whoever's tied up with them, he has Aura of Death 3, because he takes Legio 1 Primigenia, and he takes the Profane Reliquary.
Which gives an extra +1, right?
Yeah, so it's Aura of Death 3. So typically he's got a 4-stand front, 4-rank front. So you're looking at taking about 12 hits every turn. His character also has Line Breaker, and the way Line Breaker is written, it is that when you are engaged with any of the stands from that regiment, you lose Bastion 1 and Shield 1. So so let's say he hits a Man-at-Arm unit with Seasoned Veteran at D4, and he charges me, and his first turn he does Clash, he takes out maybe 2 guys, and then I Bastion up. It does nothing to help with Aura of Death, even though Aura of Death is after draw events. So I'll be rolling 12 hits at D2, and then he's terrifying 1. So I think they're quite strong, but because they're only really good with that combo, I kind of agree with you. I think they're B.
So there are use cases for an Aura of Death specific build where you center around a block unit of, well, 4 is not exactly a block, but centering around a unit of essentially defense 5 unit, and with those things that you have there, so like the combo, and your enemy will spend more time in trying to deal with them, and if they don't deal with them, they get like passive damage. So, but in other use cases, it's a fairly strong B, but not exactly mainstay.
I tell you why he can't go to A. And that's because that when you get to tier 2, he has to choose between Memories of Old and Bastion. He can't do both because they are draw events. If they told us that at tier 2 you get a free draw event, which is Memory of Old, then fine, he's still D5. But basically, this guy at tier 2, he still has to spend an action to get to D5.
True.
Yeah, so I think that's why. Even though, yeah. Not great. Not great.
Okay. Definitely, if you're
Okay.
buying the dual kit, build more priorities on the Legionnaires because you'll see more of them in play. And then, just
Yeah.
at least build 3 stands of... Or, if your store is not exactly fussy, you can, they look fairly the same, so you can just tell them that they're Legionnaires or Praetorian Guards. One has a spear,
Yep.
one has a sword, but yeah. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Next one we have is the Princeps. Princeps is an attachment that has the ability of regiment may perform inspire actions despite being an enemy vessel. So it bypasses Old Dom's innate weakness, which is they can't inspire, and so that your unit will function like a normal unit. So you bring
Yeah,
them.
but that only works for the first 14, right? Because once you get to tier 3, you always count as inspired.
True, but usually at that time, either the game is almost over or you're losing. So it's 50-50. You can only bring them in Varangian Guard or Atanatoi. So it limits where you want it to be. And also, wait a minute. For Varangian Guard, it's 20 points, and then for Atanatoi, it's 30 points? I see.
That is weird.
That is weird.
I don't know. Both of those units have got Clash 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't need it, I think.
Yeah, it seems like it's trying to fix a problem where there's no problem. I feel.
Yeah.
And paying an extra, 20 something points, 30 something points, hell even, is not exactly where you want it to be.
It's
You'd
rough.
rather just bring like an extra stand, which costs you like a bit more point efficient than just giving an extra like what Varangian Guard for extra stand is 60 per stand.
60. Yeah.
And then for Atanatoi for extra stand you're 50. Wow. For Princeps is like costs almost half of a stand. That's not good maths.
And the thing is that before you're tier 3, right, you would probably want these guys to charge. So they would get inspired anyway.
True.
Right, so if you got charged, then you've already kind of screwed up one way or the other. So I kind of feel that's why, not great. Yeah,
Wow,
there you go.
our D is just like a bunch of attachments and the human units. So I think
We're pretty Asian. We're doing a lot of extremist stuff, a lot of S's and a lot of D's.
Okay, next
We're
one.
failing a lot of people.
Yeah, well, this is the last attachment that we have. This is the Profane Reliquary. Regiment gains the Aura of Death +1 special rule.
Oh yeah,
I like it. This one is probably the only worth it attachment in my opinion.
Yeah, I would put it in an A or a B because it is still kind of circumstantial. But like it's like you say, for value, I think it's there.
Come on, Legio 1.
But would you take it? Would you take it without any other buffs to Aura of Death? Would you take it just for Aura of Death 1?
Aura of Death 3 is like nothing, right?
Aura of Death 3
Sorry, Aura of Death 1, 3 stand is like...
Yes.
It's
Yeah, it's 3 hits, yeah.
It's 3 hits. It's whatever.
But would you take it for it's about 15 points?
So the units where so Dark Cenotaph can be placed in any infantry unit. I'm just quickly looking through it. Yeah, it can be placed on any infantry unit. So without sort of like a use case I would probably put them in your units that would likely see combat.
Wait, this is the Dark Cenotaph. Oh, this is the Profane Reliquary, right?
This is the...
Profane
hold on,
Reliquary.
because their name is fairly similar.
Yeah, no. I think Dark Cenotaph is the one with Dread.
Oh, Dark Cenotaph, we
the
already went
25.
through it. Yeah. This is the...
Yeah. This is the Profane Reliquary, which can go in the Praetorians. It can go in...
Oh, never mind. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's only
I
in
think
Legionnaires
you
and
can-
Praetorian Guard. Yep.
Yeah, so I would kind of think they're A or B. I don't know.
It's okay. I mean, I don't mind paying 15
It's okay,
points
yeah.
for extra damage.
It's 25. Sorry, it's not 15. It's 25.
It's 25. Yeah, okay. For 25 points, it's probably like high B. I wouldn't put them in every list, but if I have
Yeah,
spare points, would be my consideration because OD has like such so many goods like banners and armors that upgrades. So
Or yeah.
so yeah, this is it's there. I mean, for ROD plus one, it's fairly cheap, but it's situational.
Okay, let's move on.
Next one is the spooky looking one. Is the Profane Sepulture. Um,
This is the monster, isn't it?
this is the monster, which I have no idea what it looks like. So I just
It's gonna be a guy with an even bigger coffin.
so, Profane Sepulture. So let's quickly go through what the deal of this thing is. Profane Sepulture. Ben, take us away.
So profane sepulcher can
Sepulture,
basically
Also, it's a
I-
medium
I
monster,
think-
by the way. Fun fact.
yeah, it's a monster. What it does is your whole warband that's in the same warband as the profane sepulcher can basically count the dark powers one tier higher. So I'm just doing a real quick check as to who can really bring them, and it looks like
Hero
it is
Deacon.
basically the Hero Deacon.
Mhm.
No, Hero Deacon can't bring him. It's only the Archimandrite.
Ooh, right.
Yeah. So basically, cultists, Kharas, and legionaries. So if you're gonna play two Kharas, and a profane sepulcher and legionaries, right? To put the Archimandrite in, because the Archimandrite can't join the profane, it can't join the the Kharas. It can only join legionaries. And then you got two Kharas and then the profane. Not bad. Not bad for a strong starting force, because your two Kharas will basically be using draw events as well as actions to buff them up to priest 3 and then just blasting people into oblivion.
So the fun fact about the now the fanatical devotion is an interesting rule. It's a draw event tied to the profane sepulcher. It gives you heal when you target them with a spell. So essentially, you're double healing when you are within the AOE of the profane sepulcher. So this is
It's not double, right? It actually just heals 3,
well,
right?
quote unquote double the heal, right? Because you're healing for like 2 or 3, and then you get another heal 3 on top of that. Quote unquote.
Right.
So it makes your legionnaires far more tougher than what they are, and also all friendly regiments, right? So imagine the use case of bringing Fallen Divinity and an Archimandrite support, and then you're also bringing Profane Sepulcher. You heal your Fallen Divinity 3, 1 or 2, and then it triggers heal 3. So it becomes a bit more unkillable again. your Fallen Divinity. So it's a support monster, but it hits fairly decent. It has 8 attacks and 14 wounds with no resolve. So man, 14 wounds is a lot.
Yeah, 14 wounds is a lot, yeah. But I don't know if anyone would actually focus on killing it.
No,
it kind of
it's a-
makes sense to me
it's a
to just
support.
focus down the unit I'm trying to focus down anyway.
True, but at the same time, Profane Sepulcher is one of those things that it really depends on what other models that you're bringing. First of all, it's 220 points. It's expensive. It occupies. It's not exactly threatening with only like Clash 2 and 8 attacks. It's not gonna kill anything. And sort of like the support ability that it gives, it really depends on how you build the rest of the list. So I think without seeing it in the battlefield with sort of my limited experience, it would probably go into B, because it really depends on your list and how you make this, and what kind of things you want to support with it. Really, it's for 220 points is that's usually the question. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly where it goes. I can't push it any higher. I kind of think it's circumstantial.
It's
So
probably
yeah,
like mid B, after the Centaur, probably. Yeah.
yeah, definitely after the Centaur.
Okay. Varangian Guard. Would you like to go through the Varangian Guard?
So another unit that comes off from the Byzantine influences, very, very nice models. I'm going to assume they have these huge long axes because they already start at Cleave 2. Good stat line, move March 5. They've got Clash 3. I think they have E. Let me just
Yeah,
give
E1,
this a real
yes.
check. Yeah, E1, D3. 1 wound, which is not fantastic. 1 attack, quite standard. They have Tenacious, so they drop 1 hit automatically, but they have Memories of Old Line Breaker, which is so broken, and Cleave +1. So it basically means that, and they're heavy, so most likely by the time they come in, you are at tier 2. It means that basically they're going to have a joy event that makes them Linebreaker 1 and Cleave 3. So these guys are worse than your typical Dragon Slayers. Dragon Slayers are Clash 3 or Clash 4, actually, I can't
Clash
remember.
3. Probably. Well,
Yeah, but
let me.
well, they are 2 wounds, so I mean there is obviously a difference, but I mean yeah, the Varangians at Cleave 3 Linebreaker, I can't off the top of my head really think of anything that is D4, except maybe Incarnate Sentinels and Dragon Slayers.
Yeah, it's an anti-dragon slayer. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess they were supposed to kill dragons, and these guys are supposed to kill people. So I guess yeah, they should do what they're
And Dragon
being
Slayers
paid to do.
is Clash 4.
Clash 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, that kind of explains why these guys are 200 points and the Dragon Slayers are 240. base, if I'm
235,
not
yeah.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. So, I think these guys are good at 200 points for a heavy unit like this. They're not gonna rush onto the board, so I think they would be. I'm trying to think between A and B. I would push them into A simply because they have Linebreaker. That's my personal feel, because Linebreaker is not a common rule. It's actually very rare. I think every army only has 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, I think the Spire has
the
it on
way
its monster. Yeah, you're right.
right, it's a very rare rule. I think 100 Kingdoms don't even have it. There's no access to it at all.
And I think
Wardrun don't have it either. Oh no, Wardrun do.
The monster, the big monster, right, with 24 wounds has it.
No.
The cavalry.
No. Don't Linebreaker. They have it's Chosen of War. Chosen of War have it.
Oh, Ben knows his Wadrun. I can't remember.
The big guy has it too. The big Brontosaurus.
Tontor. There you go.
Tontor.
So I was half right.
Yeah, he's got Linebreaker. Yeah, he does. But not the Thunder Riders. No, I don't think so.
It's a unique ability. I would warrant it in like mid A probably, because heavy. I don't like heavy that's slow. That's just sort of like my sort of crutch on this type of unit. But at the same time, I think you can. There's also a use case when you give them flank, right? So with one of the upgrades that you can give to your commander, so you attach your unit, your Ciliarch to the Varangian guard, and then they come in with flanks. So turn 3, they auto come out.
Oh dear God! If you put a Ziliarch in there with flank, and then you do your supremacy. Oh.
Some combo right there.
But to be fair, I don't think the Varangian ever has to swing twice.
Nah, with Cleave 3, Cleave 2.
And Linebreaker.
And they have natural.
I don't think have to swing
enemy
twice, yeah.
Resolve -1 from the Animate Vessel rule. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tier 2. Yeah, tier 2 it won't have that. Yeah, that won't be terrifying 2 yet. Yeah, that's rough.
Yep. So for
it's almost auto kill.
Yeah, almost. Depends on the unit. Yeah, I mean, if you're hitting chaff, these guys, they don't pay back their money. But if you're hitting like the elite units in which they have high defense, this is the unit to bring. So it's also matchup dependent, I would say. If your opponent has a lot of cheap units like Spires, right? Or maybe they're good at killing Avatar though. Avatar would not like to see these guys.
No, it would not.
So the last one is a bit of a chicken shit right here, because I just categorize all the commander into one, because really with how sort of like the game is played, right? The commander at least will be played. So I can't exactly put one below the other, because they occupy different playstyle, they occupy different abilities. So I think for commanders, there really is a use case for any of them, except Fallen Divinity is just separate, because Fallen Divinity is the most unique option that Old Dominion has, and it deserves a tier on its own. But in general, for all the commander options, if I were probably to give sort of like my favorite commander, is the Archimandrite. simply because I like
Mhm.
spellcasters.
Yep.
But
Yep.
if you're playing like 2,000 points, then you have sort of like multiple commander. Then you have an Archimandrite for your spellcasters, and then you have your Strategos when you want to bring in your
Radicals.
cavalry, or you bring in the Hero Deacon if you want to bring like your Butchapaloi, etc. So it's a lot of mix and matches. I can't really put any justification of why one is better than the other. So for all the commanders, probably just like mid A because they're all playable and you need those commanders when you want to start the
I
game.
would actually put them in S. I
Because
think their commanders are some of the best. And
they
I'll
can't be
explain why.
they can't be
Because
dueled.
no, they can, and the thing is that their base is 5 for wounds. So they can almost always accept a duel and have no chance of dying.
Yeah, Ciliarch
Which
is
is
6
not the same
wound.
as everybody else.
Even
Is
Ciliarch is
Luck
freaking
6?
6 wounds.
Oh my god, you see what I mean? And then the Strategos has 6.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean like they can really just like, oh well, I'll take it, and they'll fight you.
Even the
Because
bloody Archimandrite has 5 wounds.
yeah,
It's a freaking
and
spellcaster.
yeah, that game theory about doing wounds as opposed to like lifesteal, where you take from you and I give to myself, and that's like a double bonus. So they have that because they have terrifying 1 all the time. So any living creature that duels them is gonna be behind them in terms of in terms of in the fact that they don't have to take resolve, and then you have to take it at -1. So it's really rough to duel these guys.
Yep, and normally
Unless you're playing like Quicksilver Strike with your assassin, then okay, fine. Yeah. Other than that, my god.
yeah, simply
Rough.
because like these are the most survivable commander around. They don't mind taking a duel. How much damage can you deal realistically against like 5 wounds with like defenses and evasion as well, and they don't take resolve tests. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're fairly survivable, and yeah, I think I agree.
I mean, yeah. If let's say you saw my chapter mate, right, and then you challenge me with one of your heroes, you know that the next challenge is gonna go through, and the chapter mate will not survive.
Mhm.
But these guys can actually accept one challenge.
Yep.
Safely. After that, they gotta be a bit worried, but they can accept one challenge. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I actually forgot one unit, which is the bone golems. So probably for bone golems, I think for bone golems, it's probably I would like to put it in A tier, simply
Yeah,
because Aura of Death 2 with additional Aura of Death +1 and just their stats line in general, it's a lot to handle for just like 210 points with the bone golems, and
Yeah.
the model is amazing looking.
18 wounds is my goodness. It's the equivalent of about 26 wounds if you consider resolve.
And unstoppable, your favorite ability in the
And unstoppable. And the aura of death +1 is such a troll move because it just irritates you that you didn't activate first even more. and then when you do activate, you take aura of death 3 or 4 if he doesn't get to inspire.
Yep.
And the thing about him being cleave, okay, so how do you counter Old Dominion? You engage them, right? So they don't get the inspire bonus. But the problem with bone golems is that for every 2 of their hits, which is a 1 and a 2, the 1 is 2 hits because he's got relentless blows. So it's solid A tier unit. I don't see this guy going anywhere. And with 18 wounds, he can hold a whole flank by himself, at least 2 turns.
Yeah. Also, it comes in with Harden, so you can't really chip through it with its defense 3. So it's mostly going to be rolling at 3 or less all the time, which is good.
Which basically means you need to do 36 hits, and which unit can do that?
Plus, then the Archimandrite activates, then heal them back up, and easy peasy.
Oh, don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!
All right, so Old Dominion. We have a bunch of in S tier, so please don't show this to Parabellum Games. I'm joking.
They're gonna get nerfed, man. they kind of have everything up there. I mean, the casters need to come down at least to like 3 wounds or something. Like it's so good. It's so good.
The casters
If
have
I'm not
5
wrong,
wounds. Ridiculous.
I do believe the chapter mage is like 2 wounds. Let me just check.
Are you
this.
serious? The
Or was
chapter
it-
mage is 2 wounds? That's like
Okay,
such a-
I could be mistaking it because I know he only has 1 attack. So I remember it was quite. No, he's got 4 wounds, but he's got 2 attacks. 2 attacks. Okay,
wow.
sorry, my mistake.
It's okay. Look,
Just self-gimped my own guys.
4 wounds resolve. Resolve 2. Jesus. Why are you so bad?
Well,
Stat?
that's most of the army, though. I mean,
That's true.
most of the army is. The commanders are mostly 3, but we don't have a single 4. Like the lord that's been told he's God's gift to the world since he's a baby
like
is
even
also
even the
R3.
teased priest, which I imagine is like this fanatical guy, right? Resolve 2. Anyway,
Yeah.
ranting about 100 Kingdom, we can be here all day. So Old Dom looks to be in a good spot right now. If you guys are planning to play Old Dom, collecting Old Dom, we don't have a lot of units that's released yet. As you can see right here, there's a bunch of unreleased units, but it looks like what they have right now is good, and it's just going to get better with more releases and hoping to see with the way that sort of Parabellum looks at their game, looks at the Vanguard playtesting, etc. I'm sure they have plans to sort of shift things around within the next couple of months. So these are not going to be staying where they are. We've identified some interesting options, and we have found also like very bad attachments. So hoping that these are getting looked at, or getting reworked, or maybe have their point cost like sort of adjusted, because with the way things are right now, I think the attachments are almost like not worth it, except like your standard error, which is unstoppable. Is re-rolling is such a powerful ability.
Yeah, no, it is definitely.
All right, Ben, this has been fun. So what's your closing thoughts on Old Dom?
I think they're a very strong faction, but I do think that what Zach has been saying about it's very reliant on player skill is very true. I think if you mismanaged the army, I know that can be said about every army, but particularly Old Dom, I think they don't have a lot of tools in their. They don't have a lot of flexibility in the tools that they bring. So if you misplay the Cataphractoi, it can be quite deadly.
Yeah, it's a skill challenge, because there's not one component can win you the game, right? Like I say this for like Jotnars. You can lose everything else, and then you have Jotnars, you're still in a fine state. If you're playing Spire, you have a big blob of Avatara. They can run around and like win just by themselves. But Old Dom doesn't really operate like that.
Yeah. Everybody needs to do their job at least partially. So yeah, I don't know, but you're saying that, but the Fallen Divinity looked like it can go around killing everybody as well.
Yeah, that's the only exception. That's why it's up there in S tier, where she should be, and I really can't wait to get that model.
Well, soon. I do think they're going to be brutes towards the end of the year for the Old Dom, so I think it should be the big archer units, I'm guessing.
Yep. All right. With that said, thank you so much for being here, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Evan. Thanks to everyone who's watched the video. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead, do that with Evan's channel.
All right. With that said, have a good one, everyone, and see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Thanks.